Hi everyone, it's Emma, and in this tutorial I'm going to be showing you how to crochet these two coloured granny squares. These are traditional granny squares with a different coloured centre, and once these are all joined together it gives a really effective appearance and they're really simple to do. I'm using some Hobbii Rainbow Bamboo yarn. This was very kindly gifted to me by Hobbii so that I could make this tutorial for you. I've got some different colours and I will pop all of the details of the colours that I'm using in the description box below. I'm actually in the process of making a really big blanket with these squares. I'm not using a join as you go technique that I would normally do. I'm actually going to join all these together at the end once they're all finished. So I will have another video once all the squares are completed showing you how I'm going to join them and talking you through that process. So make sure that you are subscribed so that you don't miss out on that video when it's up on my channel. Okay, so you can use any yarn that you prefer for this pattern, as long as you use the appropriate hook size. I'm going to be using this rainbow bamboo yarn, and I think I'll use this lovely colour for this tutorial. And I'm going to be using this with a 4mm hook. And please bear in mind that I am based in the UK and therefore I use UK crochet terminology. To make these granny squares, you'll need to know how to crochet a UK treble, and that is equivalent to a US double. But I will pop that information in the description box down below, along with all the yarn details and everything else. So I'm just going to bring you a bit closer and then we'll get started. We're going to begin by working the centre of our granny square. So to do that, we're going to take our yarn and make a slip knot, and we're going to pop that on our hook, and we're going to make a chain circle. Now, if you prefer, you can absolutely start with a magic ring. I just prefer to use this method. So we're going to chain 4, and we're going to take our hook and pop it through the chain furthest away here. We're going to grab that yarn and pull it through and pull it through the loop on our hook, and we've joined that together in a ring. If we just give everything a bit of a tug like that, it opens it up, and you should be able to see the centre of the chain circle nice and clearly. If you find that a bit tricky to find, you can always chain 5 or 6 to make it a bit easier. For round number 1, we're going to chain 4. And this counts as our first stitch and our corner space. This will become clearer as we go on, so don't worry. And we're going to begin by working our first set of 3 treble crochets, which you can see here. Don't forget I'm using UK terms, so that's 3 double crochets if you're using US terms. So to do that, we're going to yarn over and we're going to insert our hook into the center of that circle that we've just made. Grab the yarn and pull it through. Grab the yarn and pull through 2. Grab the yarn and pull through 2. And that's our first stitch created. We're going to do that 2 more times. So yarn over, insert our hook back into that circle, yarn over and pull through, yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2. That's 2 stitches created. 1 more to go. Yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over and pull through, yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2. And that's created our first set of 3 treble crochets. So now we're at a corner, we need to chain 2, and that forms our corner space. And then we're going to do exactly the same thing, and we're going to work another 3 trebles into that centre there. So we've got 1 treble, 2 trebles and 3 trebles. That's our second side completed. Chain 2 for our next corner space, and we're going to do our third side now. So that's another 3 trebles, 1 treble, 2 trebles and 3 trebles, and that's our third side completed. It should be beginning to look quite square-like now. Chain 2, and if you remember from the beginning, this starting chain here counts as a stitch already. So for this final side, we only need to crochet 2 stitches because this counts as our third stitch. So we're going to do 1 treble and 2 trebles, and then we're going to join it together by inserting our hook into the third chain from the bottom here. I find it a bit easier to count backwards. So here's the top of our stitch. This is the stitch here and the top there. This next to it is the 4th chain, which means that this one is the 3rd chain. So we're going to insert our hook. If you can, go underneath both loops of that chain there. That will make it nice and secure. Grab the yarn and pull it through. Pull through the loop on your hook. And then just to finish off and make it nice and neat, I like to slip stitch into the corner space. So insert your hook into that corner, grab the yarn and pull it through, and pull through again. And that's completed our first round. And then I'm actually going to snip that yarn and then just pull the hook like that, and the yarn will pull through, and that's nice and secure now. So we've just crocheted the center of our granny square here. And as you can see, I like to go through quite methodically. I'm currently on my 2nd color for this blanket, so I'm working all of the centers in all of them in each color as I'm going along. So I'm doing about 38 or 39 of each color to make a really nice big blanket at the end. I'm going to show you now how to crochet, how to sew in your ends before you proceed on to these white rounds here. So when you're, if you want to go ahead and make a blanket or another project, you can, it's up to you how you do it. You can either work all of the centers and then go through and add all of the borders like this, or you can just do each square fully one at a time. So I've just threaded that end there from the center of the square onto my darning needle, and all I'm going to do is thread my needle through the base of these stitches here, like so. Give it a bit of a pull, and if we pull that tight, you can see that closes up the center there. So if you did need to chain 5 or 6 to help you out at the beginning, it doesn't matter, because once you come to sewing the ends in, it makes it nice and neat for you anyway. And once I've done that round a couple of times, I just snip that end off like so. And then we've just got one more end here. So I'm going to show you how to sew that one in, and then I'll show you how to work the next 2 rounds of your square. Okay, so I've just got that yarn on my needle now, and if we look here, this is our last slip stitch here. And if you just turn it on the side, you should be able to see the top of this stitch here. What I'm going to do is just pop my needle underneath both loops of that stitch and pull it through and give it a gentle tug, and then turn it over so we've got the back of the square facing us, and then just thread it through any of these loops here that you can see, just like so. And then I like to go through the base of these stitches in the middle there as well, like that. And that's all I do, and that will just make it a bit easier when you come to adding the next round, because you won't have as many ends dangling about. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is take our border colour, or our colour that we're using for the next 2 rounds. And if you've watched some of my other videos, you'll know that I like to join my yarn with standing stitches. So I'm going to show you how to do that now. So instead of tying your yarn on with knots or anything, you're going to form a slip knot and pop it on your hook. and we're going to go straight in and work a treble. So it can be a little bit fiddly. I do have a full tutorial on it if you want to take a look. What we're going to do is yarn over like this, as if we were going to work a stitch. Take this index finger on the hand that's holding your hook and just pop it there to hold those two loops nice and secure to stop them from sliding around. We're going to pick up our center of the granny square, and we're going to pop our hook into any one of these corner spaces. It doesn't matter which one. We're going to grab that yarn and pull through. I've still got my index finger there holding these loops nice and secure, and then grab the yarn and pull through two, and then grab the yarn and pull through two. And on this last one, I've just brought my thumb and middle finger together on this hand just to hold things in place and keep them nice and secure. What we're going to do now to make this nice and neat is chain two and go straight into working the second part of our corner. So to do that, we're going to work 3 trebles into this same space. We're going to do 1, 2, and 3. And then we're going to move across into our second corner space, which is here. And we're going to do another 3 treble crochets. So that's 1, 2, and 3. Now we need to work our corner space. So we're going to chain 2. And we're going to do another 3 treble crochets into that same space. And 3. That's our second corner completed. We're going to move into the third one now with another 3 treble crochets. And 3, chain 2. And then work another 3 treble crochets into that same space. And 3. Now we're ready to move across into this next corner space with 3 trebles, 3, a chain 2, and another 3 treble crochets into that same space. And 3. Now we've almost worked our way back around to the beginning. Now if we look here, we've got a partial corner here in this first one because this is our standing stitch that we created. So to finish off, we just need to do 2 more treble crochets. 1 and 2. And then we need to join to the top of this standing stitch, and that should be really easy to spot. If you look at it from the top, it looks just like a normal stitch. So pop your hook into there, grab the yarn and pull it through and pull through that loop on your hook. And then to finish off this round, we're going to insert our hook into that corner space, grab that yarn and pull it through, and then pull through the loop on our hook. And that just makes the whole thing look really neat, and you won't have any join line or anything as you keep adding to your square. So we've got one more round to do. To start this one, we're going to chain 4. And just like with our very first round, that counts as 1 stitch plus a corner space. We're going to finish off our corner with 3 trebles into this same space. And 3. Now that our square is getting a bit bigger, instead of going straight into a corner space, we've got another space here in the center along the side. So we're going to work 3 trebles into that space there. Remember, I'm using UK terminology, so that would be 3 double crochets if you're using US terminology. So that's the side completed, and now we're back to a corner, and exactly the same as before, we're going to do 3 trebles, a chain 2, and another 3 trebles to form the corner. 3 and chain 2 and 3 more trebles. And this yarn from Hobbii is absolutely beautiful because it is not splitty at all. As you can see, I've used a lot of bamboo and cotton yarns in the past that split a lot as you're crocheting with them. It makes things really difficult, but this one is absolutely beautiful and really smooth. So that's our corner space completed. Now we come to the side again. So we're going to work 3 trebles into this space here. 2 and 3. And now we're at a corner again. So we're going to work 3 trebles, a chain 2 and another 3 trebles. That's our first set of 3, chain 2 and work another 3 treble crochets, and that will bring us around the corner. And now we're on to the next side of the square. So the more rounds that you add to a granny square, the more square it begins to look. So if after your first round you're a bit worried that it doesn't look square enough, don't worry, because it will become more defined as you go along. Okay, so now we've got a side bit here, so we're going to work 3 trebles into that space there. And our corner, so we're going to do 3 trebles, chain 2 and another 3 trebles. There's my chain 2 and 3 more trebles, and we're almost back to the beginning now. I'll just finish this corner. Okay, and now we've got one more side space. We're going to work our set of 3 trebles into that space there. And now we're right back at the beginning. Remember, these chain stitches from the beginning count as 1 stitch already, so this time we only need to crochet 2. We're going to do 1 and 2 trebles there, and then we're going to join again to the 3rd chain from the bottom. Again, I'm going to count backwards. Here's our stitch and the top of our stitch here, which means that this here is our 4th chain and this one here is our 3rd chain. So insert your hook under both loops there, grab the yarn and pull it through and pull through again. And just to finish that off and make it nice and neat, I'm going to insert my hook into that corner space, grab the yarn and pull through that loop on our hook. And that's our 2 rounds completed. So then just snip that yarn, leave yourself a nice long tail to sew in, pull the hook through like that, and that's made everything nice and secure. So I'm going to quickly show you how to sew in the ends. So take your darning needle and pop that first thread on your needle there, and then I'm looking at the back of the square now, and I'm just going to go underneath the base of these stitches here, pull that through, and then again I'm going to go underneath these here and pull that through, and then you can snip that end off. And our last yarn tail, pop that on your needle, and then if we bring it close again and pop it on its side, you should be able to see just behind our slip stitch there, you should be able to see this stitch here. Just pull that yarn tail through there and give it a nice tug, and that will make the front look lovely and neat. And turn it over, and then I'm just going to go through these 2 loops here and then underneath just some more of the base of the stitches at the back, and that's all you need to do. And then you can cut that yarn tail. So I will continue updating on my progress as I'm making all of these granny squares. I'm making 192, I think, in total, and then I'm going to come back with another video and I'll show you how I join them all together. But if you place them all like this, you can see you can kind of see the effects that it's going to create. It looks really effective. I really love it. I've always wanted to make a lovely big blanket like this. So thank you for watching. I hope you found that helpful. I would be really grateful if you would like and subscribe. It really helps my channel grow and enables me to bring you more tutorials. So I will see you again in the next video. Thanks for watching and take care, everyone. Bye.